Question for you, Dad. I know you probably say, yeah. Did you do a lot of dating when you were a teenager?
No, not that much. But
No?
there was a few that would go like this to me.
When you had a little bit of money growing up, selling the newspapers, what did you guys spend your money on, Dad? What did you spend your money
I
on?
saved it.
Saved it.
I saved it.
Did you have to give any money to Mama and your dad?
Of course I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Help
Help.
support the family?
And I've helped anybody that needed help.
Did you spend any, but did you buy yourself anything that you wanted? That you needed?
You wanted a car.
Maybe something you bought
Yeah,
money
yeah.
on that your mom and dad didn't want you to spend money on?
And I seen there was people that like a cowboy movies and I wanted to see a gun and all that kind of stuff. But just as a kid.
But nothing when you got in a teenager, you didn't spend your money on something
No,
that you
no.
wanted. You just saved your money for your car.
Try to save that. Try to get my money there, and make sure that I have a little something right here.
There you go, all the time. What about you, Mom? Any money that you ever had? Did you ever have any money?
Nope.
You ever worked a little bit and made a
I
little
worked
money
a
on your
little
own?
bit for Papermate.
Wait, how old were you then?
Must have been about 19.
But nothing
20.
young, like when Dad was young, just on the newspaper. You never did anything when you were really
When I
young?
worked at St. John's Hospital, when I was going to St. Monica's, I was making a little money. My sister-in-law worked there, so
What'd you do with your money?
what did I spend it on?
Yeah.
Things for school, my uniform. As a child, we picked lima beans.
Lima
We
beans.
picked lima beans for this Japanese family called Sakiokas, and we picked lima beans all day, and we get 85 cents a bushel. So I would make like $30, $40 a week, and I would save it. So when school started, I was able to buy myself my uniform and pencils, whatever I needed.
Good. Who are some of the most famous celebrities when you were growing up, Dad, that you emulated? Aside from John Wayne, celebrities, movie stars that you knew a little bit about.
Zapata.
Who's Zapata? Who's that?
Zapata was a great Mexican hero. He was a soldier.
War hero. Oh, yeah?
Zapata was, like a rancher, but he was
He became one of the most famous Mexican fighter for his people during the revolution.
What about you, Mom?
Zapata.
Who famous celebrities that you remember growing up that you emulated, that you liked?
I don't think I ever had any famous movie star or anything like that.
No, not for you.
Yeah.
Dad, do you know how you got your name, Dad? Was you ever told why they named you Elias?
My mother, she quería. Elias is also, I think it has something to do with religion.
No, Elias was a lawyer that your mom and dad knew very well.
That's
Wasn't
right.
he a lawyer?
That's right.
Named
that's
after
right,
a
that's
lawyer.
right,
Yeah,
that's
he
Uh.
was a lawyer. I don't know if he was a family member, but his name was Elias. That's
Elias.
what my mom told me. Anyway,
Elias, I didn't know that. What about you, Mom? What were you named after?
I don't know. My mom just named us.
Named us, huh? It's so many of you. Line them up.
And I think about it, I said, why don't you pick some nice names? You don't, like Beatrice. Who would ever think they named their daughter Beatrice?
Beatrice. How do they call you Licha? What was that from?
I don't know. I don't remember why.
What does it mean?
At school, they called me that. All the kids in our team, they said, come on, Licha. And my coach always called me. Ganga was my coach.
Called you
And he always called me Licha.
Licha.
That's he was a black man.
Yeah, he was a half Mexican and half Latino.
I remember. I met
Other
him.
than
I
that-
met him. He came into my store with his wife, and they bought shirts for St. Anne's. He paid for it, and I made sure I gave him a really good price because I knew you knew who he was. And I told him, and he said, "You good, very good. But your father and your mother are good people. Remember that." How did you decide on our names? First off, Leah. So obviously,
Yes, I named him after your dad.
okay.
Then Mark, I don't know. I like the name Mark.
Marco.
No, for no reason. Marcos is his real name. And then Renee, because the name went with Regalado, so I thought something R.
Uh-huh.
Ricardo.
And Ricky. I wanted your name to be Steven, but
What?
then we couldn't decide on it. So you went home. After if you were born, I took you home without a name.
No name.
And then I had to make up my mind and then ride into the city of Los Angeles and get it registered and the name that I finally got.
Ricardo.
Ricardo.
You know, I was almost a Steven, Lily. I was almost a Steven before Ricky.
Rick.
I was naming that.
Look at that lady.
Yeah, I see her.
She, very,
No.
she comes to work on.
Yeah. Oh, that's the lady that works at the restaurant.
Yes.
But, and how did you name next? How did you name Rita?
Because it went with an R.
What better with an R? And how did you change it all the way to Lily?
Oh, because your dad's friend, compadre,
Yeah.
his wife was named Lillian.
Lillian.
Yeah.
So she said, you know, name her after me. And I said, yeah, okay. So I'm like, yeah, Lily Marie.
Man.
Rita.
Marina.
And Rita's listening to it and agreeing.
Rita, she knows. She's confirming
You
everything.
like that, Rita?
How old were you when you first had Leah?
I was, what was I, 20, 21.
21.
I think I was 21.
How long did you date before you got engaged and got married?
How long did I get engaged?
How long were you engaged, or how long were you dating before you got engaged?
Not too long, maybe a year, 2 years.
Very short, huh?
Yeah.
How was
Maybe
your?
out of high school.
Do you remember when you proposed to mom, dad?
No, he says I proposed to him.
What do you remember, dad?
I said yes immediately.
Is that what it was, mom?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You proposed to him.
Yeah. In fact, the first time I saw him, not that first time, because I remember I must have seen him in the neighborhood because we grew up together. But when I went to Samo High after I was a junior, okay, I was at St. Monica's.
That's going to be my
Second
man.
semester of junior year, I had to go leave St. Monica's because I wasn't paying tuition. They finally caught up with me then. Scheming nuns. So anyways,
Scared? Good job, Elisa.
I saw him there was a location at Salmon High where all the Latinos hung out after lunch. And he was standing there. And I was with a friend called, she was a friend of Annie's, because Annie was already at Salmon High, my sister Annie. And I saw your dad, and I said, ooh, that guy's good looking. Your dad. I said, oh, he's going to be mine. And I'm like that. Did I say that?
The Mexican Elvis, right? Wasn't he Mexican
She
Elvis?
said, she said
Oh, your teachers are coming in.
that's going to be my man.
Tell us, okay, so both of you, separate, real quick one, but tell us what was your most proudest moment of your children? So Leah first, Dad. What was your most proudest moment of Leah?
But Mika doesn't.
Yeah.
Mika never gets sick.
It was, first child.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had a big
What
party
about
at
you,
the
Mom?
house.
What about you? Tell me, what happened?
When I was in the hospital, he invited a bunch of friends and celebrated at the apartment that we were renting. When I came home, the place was a mess. We had a little party.
In Kansas?
Yeah. No, we lived on Navy Street.
Navy.
Oh, I
Santa
thought Navy.
Monica.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Navy and what? What street was that? Navy and what?
Navy off of Lincoln.
Navy off of Lincoln. Okay. Okay.
There's like an alleyway there.
Yep.
Marine Street,
Okay.
Navy. But the street that we lived on is called Longfellow.
Longfellow. Okay. What about proud moments of our beloved past brother Mark? What do you remember your proudest moment, Mom, of Mark?
No, I didn't.
I don't know.
No.
Life was always good with my kids.
Yeah. What do you remember?
Mark was not a bad person.
No, no. What about Dad? What do you remember about Mark that you were proud of about Mark?
Mark?
Yeah.
He was very good at
He
doing
was very good at construction and all that.
doing the. He had a good brain to do certain things, but sometimes he would get out of hand, and I had to talk to him. No. And it was a,
What about Renee, Mom? What about Renee? Proudest moment of Renee?
Renee's always been a wonderful person to the family. They're good kids, never had any problems.
Oh, what
None
about,
of my kids.
yeah. What about you, Dad? What about Renee, Dad? We remember a proud moment from Renee.
loved your mom a lot. That was it.
Yeah. What about me? I was next. So what about me? What one of your proud moments did you remember about me?
You were good. You were good. And you'd work at someplace in Ocean Park or whatever. And
Rainbow Acres.
Rainbow Acres. Real good.
And they all loved him, Ricky. Say, we all love Ricky here.
That's right.
Do you remember that? What else, Mom? Did you remember about me? That made you proud.
You were always, my kids were always not mean to me. They never talked back. The only one that talked back for me one time was Mark when he was little, and he was always cussing and getting mad. So I did something that I don't regret. I got him and washed his mouth out with soap.
I remember that one. Okay, then next is our pride and joy, Rita. What do you remember about Rita, Dad? What do you make the really proud of about Rita? I have mine. I'll tell you at the end. But what do you, Dad, about Rita?
I think I noticed that there was something a little bit different. And she moved a lot, and she, as a little baby, and to this day, I will say she's the best. When I found out that she had a form of cerebral palsy that was no good. I mean, she wasn't the same as the rest of my kids. And to this day, I'll tell it to you and everybody else. This is the best child of my life. When the child can't walk, can't talk, can't do nothing like that. And to this day, she comes up to me, goes like this. Like today. I took her out. I took her out to eat. And to this day, she has the same way. All wonderful, wonderful, wonderful child. Absolutely wonderful. My baby.
What's wrong with it?
What about Lily? What was one of my most proud moments of Lily?
Well, Lily, I think when she graduated from Northridge,
Yes.
Very smart.
Yes.
very smart in class.
Smart.
and then-
Our first family member to graduate college.
Yes,
Yep.
and then she went to Loyola and got a master's. Very bright person, and she still is, and wants to help people.
I remember she grew up at, what was the name of that place, Ellison? She bought. She bought that home.
In that little home in South Central.
Yes.
Yes.
And she, I fixed up her place, and I'll never forget. She came up, and she was going to give me, because I put the money to do all of that, and she came up and gave me $1,200.
Oof.
And then I did this. I took the money, and I went, and I got her hand. I said, "Here, this is not for me. This is for you. You've done a wonderful. You work. You let me do this, and the place looks great. So I gave her back the money.
Mm.
She could tell you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. In your around your 20s, when you're 20s, like when you were having babies and so on, what did you spend most of your time with when you were doing in the 20s, Mom? What did you, aside from family, what else were you doing? Do you remember, like in the 20s, what were you doing?
Not with my family.
No, not with us.
I
Not with
just
Rita
worked-
and
I just
Leah.
worked up until I had Renee. After that, I didn't work.
And where did you work again?
I worked at Papermate,
Papermate. Where, in Santa Monica?
Santa Monica and Olympic.
Mm.
Then I didn't work for years and years until we bought a house, and then I wanted to go back to work, and Rita was still at McBride. So I walked in the office. I had already quit the school. They knew me already because I was room mother and volunteer. So, and I talked to the lady in the office, and I said, you know what? I'm ready to get a job. Can I get a job here? And she says, yes, Mrs. Wiggle. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, it must have been on a Monday or a Tuesday. She So this coming Saturday, we have a group of people who are taking a standardized test.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, I forget the name of it now, but that you have to take a proficiency test, they call it. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, they'll give you a test in English, they'll give you a test in math, they'll give you a test, everything. It contains education, just what kids will be learning in school. How much of it do you still know and all that? Okay, so I took a test. Renee took me, and it was a 2-hour test. Then Renee comes back to pick me up, and they still hadn't given me my score.
Mhm.
You had to have a certain score to be hired. And the lady that lived on Nave Street, remember Gerald?
Yes.
Gerald's mother was the lady that was giving the test.
Okay.
And she came up to me after everybody was gone. People who were said, "No, you didn't pass." So I was like the second to the last. And then she comes up and wants to shake my hand. I said, "This is Rick Alado." Says, "When was the last time you were in high school?" I said, "I graduated from Samo High in 1958." My God, you did so good on the test. So good. How could you remember so much? I said, "I don't know." So they hired me.
Oh.
She said, all you have to do now is go to Grandview and say you passed your test. We'll send your score in, and it's up to them when they want to hire you.
Okay.
So they hired me.
I didn't know that. That I didn't know. I know you started there, but I didn't know how.
We had to take a proficiency test.
Do you remember your wedding,
My wedding?
Dad? Do you remember your wedding?
I didn't have a big wedding.
No. What did you do?
We just got married at a chapel on across the street from the Boys Club in Santa Monica. Harley?
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really? Who was there?
Nobody. Just me and him and 2 witnesses and the pastor.
Who were the witnesses?
Friends and people that were there.
Friends? So there were a couple of friends
I
there?
didn't know that. We didn't know that.
Didn't know you at all? None of your sisters or your brothers?
Not even my mother knew I got married.
Why?
I just wanted to get married. We wanted to get married. I didn't have to get married like they say nowadays. You
Yeah.
have to get married? No, I didn't have to get married.
But you didn't feel you had to tell them?
No. My mom loved Elliot, your dad.
And how about Mama? Did she love you?
Huh?
How did Mama love you?
Yeah, but I
Yes.
mean, she knew he was a good person.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I didn't know you guys had a wedding. I never thought about it.
Nope, I never had a wedding. We couldn't afford one anyway.
Oh.
Not
What?
me anyway, not with my family.
So when you did get married,
Yes.
what did your parents and your brothers and sisters, what did they all think about? Anybody say anything?
No,
Anybody question it or
no,
no?
not really.
Everything was fine?
Yeah.
How about you, Dad?
She was
Any of your brothers, sisters, friends, or families
His
question
mother
Mom?
wasn't too happy though.
Who? Who?
Your dad's mom, he wanted her to go to college and stay in college.
Did you guys go on a honeymoon?
We went to, not then, but we went to Ensenada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who went?
Just your dad and I.
That's it? How long were you there for?
Oh, maybe for about 10 days, I think.
Mm.
Weeks.
It's called Estero Beach.
Estero Beach, nice there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We rented a place and the beach is right there.
So what was the most difficult part of your marriage? Dad, first, what's your most difficult part that you can remember in the marriage?
In the marriage, well, that I started drinking too much. I used to drink. Was that it, huh?
Yes.
Mm.
Drinking and gambling.
Gambling. And all I do now is gamble.
Gamble still? That's it, just the gambling. What about you, Mom? What do you remember what was the hardest thing in the marriage, Mom?
He is drinking.
Just drinking? What have you learned most about Dad over the years? What have you learned from him?
He had, like I told Raleigh one time, he's better. He's a better person than a bad person. He's a better person by being a better person than being a bad person. That was it.
Dad?
Not about me, but about you. It's the best thing I've ever done. Get married to your mother.
Okay, a couple
Even
things.
even if I was a little on the crazy side, maybe doing stupid things, you know.
How did you feel when you first became a grandparent? So that would have been little Richie, right? How did you first feel, Mom, when Richie was born?
Well, it turned out to be bad from the beginning. You know, Renee wasn't with me, and she was too young and all that. But I think the worst part was when he got killed.
Yeah, for me, that was the worst part of my life, ever. My happiest part was getting married, because you were all there. And then my worst part was losing little Richie and then losing Mark. God bless them. But we'll be there. They'll be there. When I'm ready to go, they're all going to be there waiting for us. I'm happy about that. If money was no object, Mom, what would you do? Money was no object for you.
I don't think money's ever been a big object to me. I've always had money to do what I want. It's nothing extravagant or anything like that. No.
What about you, Dad? If you had the amount of money, no money saved, you could do whatever you want. Money was never an object. What would you do?
I wanted more money.
Gamble it? Get some good horse
Not
races?
just gamble it to help people.
Oh, he's done that a lot.
And I've helped many people. Many of the relatives, many friends of mine that needed help. And that was the most important part right there.